Hi, Dan.
Hey, Tim.
How are ya?
I'm excited. Sammy can't keep us in line.
I know exactly. The Zoss is away. It's gonna be a
Just
great
a hard
day.
time later.
I know. I know. Although I don't know if you've noticed, but Sammy is actually
Oh,
following us. So,
of course she is.
welcome. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sammy. Glad you can watch us. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a few things. I want to just line people up for what we're going to be covering. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Tim Lockie, CEO of the Human Stack, and I'm usually joined here by Sami Zoss, but not today. Today it is me and Dan Kershaw from Toronto Furniture Bank. Dan is a longtime participant of the show, needs no introduction, but I'm doing it anyway. Dan, great to see you.
Great to be here.
Okay, so while I was thinking about the question I want to ask, we were discussing one of our favorite people to watch, um, and that is Nate B. Jones. This guy is really interesting. He looks like a Quaker for one thing. So he's got this, gnarly beard. His videos are excellent. They are just pure, like straight content. Really great. If you're not following him, do it. And he's got a lot of not just good
Oh,
content, but really good prompts. And while we were talking, you said, "Hey, have you seen this one prompt of his?" And of course, I've seen prompts of his, but I don't know a good prompt from a bad prompt. Now, like there's limits on that. But
yeah.
how do you know if something's a good prompt is what I want to ask you today.
Well, I'm more or less parroting a lot of what Nate provides in his Substack. And for me, I don't need the hype. I don't like all of the noise out there. I'm looking for who can I read, listen to that I can have actionable, put it to work right away input. And like every day, Nate drops something. I'm like, I can immediately use, immediately apply, immediately be aware of. And he wrote an article a little while ago and he dropped his hypothesis today in 2025 is that with the models becoming the way they are, prompting is becoming more important. Not that they have to be big, but they have to be structured in a way that they'll push back and won't proceed until it has enough information to be 99%. And he provided, well, he talks about it, he also provides tons of material. He's also a fan of deep research. Um, so got his prompt up here, and it's I'll happily share it. It's very short, and you can use it for everything. And it'll keep interrogating you until you, the human, lock it in, and then it will go off for the inference. You want to play?
I do, and I think that I want to just tell everybody there's a link up. And hi, Megan. Always great to see you. Say hi to Dana Snyder and everybody else there.
Megan.
And so that's point one. Point two is it is very excellent to be on here talking about Sami, knowing that she's watching us and having absolutely no access to the microphone is very fun.
Can't make those
So
horrible noise
I know
effects.
exactly. Boop, boop. There we go. That's me channeling Sami for today. And third, we put up this link to Nate's site, and I love his tagline. No, what is it? Pure, pure analysis, zero hype.
Yep.
And I think that is a really good way of saying that. Sometimes when people say no hype, they mean no emotion. And that's actually what's cool about Nate is that he is for me, a great amount of, oh, this is really interesting. And all of this deep analysis on why it's interesting. So,
Yep. He's often dropping 60-page Google Docs of
yeah.
supporting material, and I found it. He's got 3 different tiers. There's the free one, there's the paid one, best money you'll spend today, and he has a premium one, which is if for executives. And I splurged, and he's got a real what's the internet term, taste for how things are evolving. So if that's important to you, I'm a subscriber and I'm loving it.
Yeah, great. Okay, so to the question at hand today, how do you, Dan, take from all of the different people that you follow, because you follow a lot of different people, and you've got a lot of prompts that you've curated over time. What makes for a good prompt? How do you know it? What's your process that you go through to
His,
evaluate, examine them?
yeah, historically it was scrapbooking, and that's not successful. Like you'd find one or like
I
that
was actually
that
imagining
works.
you with those little funky scissors and
Right,
little
right.
tabs, like that's great. Yeah, sure.
And because like there are a lot of really brilliant people out there that for different things, marketing, fundraising, video, whatever. That was 22, 23, 2024. Then you and I have been on the course. There's a Maven course that we took where we're using Cassidy, and the instructor gave us a prompt that essentially could interrogate our horribly formed
Yes,
prompt because
right.
and it's important. People piss and moan about hallucinations, but as Nate says, I think only a couple of weeks ago, is like hallucinations are generally because the human putting it in didn't give it enough context
Right.
for the LM to do its job.
Yeah.
Um, so today, a lot of the prompts that I'm looking at is I'm kind of locking them in and putting them in gems. So for in the Google environment to reuse, or in Cassidy Assistance to reuse. Um, and this one that we'll go through is one I'm actually using almost every day for everything because it allows me to take just I call it my wife and I we blarf our thoughts on paper. It's structured enough for our brain, but it's not structured enough. And this has been catching. It's I've been able to successfully keep using it, and it's always forcing the resulting prompt to get better as I'm interacting with it. So, without further ado, I'll show you because it's. I think you'll find. I'm making it pretty so for those who are watching, they can see it. I am on Chrome, Window, Claude, Share. So this is a prompt that Nate provided. You are Intent Translator Max. The mission is to turn my rough idea into an ironclad work order and then deliver the work only after both of us agree it's right. Now, when you hit enter, and we'll do this, you can come up with a question, Tim. Because I think Sami and I tease that sometimes your prompts aren't really as concise as they should be. So it's going to quietly scan everything that I've given it. It's then going to keep asking questions until it decides it's 95% confident. Purpose, audience, facts, success, etc. And at some point, it'll come back with a single sentence, and it's on us to either say yes, lock it in, and go and do it, make edits because what we're seeing is not what we want, flag risk, and then depending on what you give it, if you're asking for it to do code, it'll do that, and then you can reset it. So I'm going to hit go.
Wait, can you scroll up to the top again? I'm just
Sure.
going to ask you to walk that through again. So this is the Intent Translator Max, right?
Yes.
So, okay. And is Max the name of it, or is it for maximum?
Oh, I think that's just Nate saying getting the maximum out of the person asking for the.
Got it. Okay.
Because
All right.
we all have it in our head, but our brains aren't structured.
Yeah. Right.
So it's
Okay.
going to
So
do.
then, yeah, just to walk through, and for those, so this was one of the most helpful things for me in the last 5 months has been the idea between a simple prompt and a structured prompt. And so I want to just take a minute and talk about that. And my way of doing that is always through the lens of parenting. Is that going to throw us off if I talk about that, Dan,
No,
for a
go
second?
for it.
Okay. So when I was a parent, I am still a parent. But when I was a parent and I had to give a lot more instructions to my kids who now are self-prompting, which is awesome, I struggled because I'm ADD. I struggle with this a lot, and I'm twice exceptional, which means that where I'm great, I'm awesome, and where I'm not, I'm really not. So I'm always navigating this really large divide. This happens to a lot of people, and one of the things that's hard for me is that the type of low executive function I have is that it is hard for me in the moment to to get out of complexity and to and so the outcome of that is that I just give really, really generic statements because I'm running so much abstraction in my brain at the time. And what happens with people, like a lot of people do this. So I would tell my kids, put that thing in the other thing so that we can get out the door, right? And if they were watching me, they would see me point and maybe know what I was talking about. But to your point, that is a really good way to get a hallucination, right? Like that's when your kid puts a thing in a thing and it's two things you weren't talking about. And I'm saying this because that there's a space for us to have really small, simple prompts. Like a conversation is a series of two simple prompts between people, right? But then you get to a place where that doesn't work anymore if you need it to be productive, right? Um, and that's where you enter structured prompts. And what I find is that because we're using the same word for prompt, it's really important to clarify when can you just like throw out really simple ideas and get stuff back, and where do you need to develop really specific instructions so that the prompt is structured.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Is that just
No,
helpful?
it does, and I think this is newer things for people watching. They're like, I don't know how, like this is because of the new models that are out. You know, Gemini 2.5, ChatGPT 5 with their weird selector thing.
I know, right?
Because everything can now do very long, deep thinking. Uh, we need to be more mindful when we use it. There's a conversation about the environment. Well, one thing you can do for the environment is don't put bad prompts in. You hit enter, you're using energy and tokens. So part of this is to be able to make sure that when you do engage some of these more powerful models, you're giving it the most
Yeah.
concise uh, solution. So this one here, I've been using at least for the last month, and it it lets me get my garbled stuff out of my head and on paper, but it forces structure to it before it engages the deep research function or any of the other more involved parts of a large language model.
Okay, this is an existential question a little bit. And by the way, Sammy's conversation in the background here is just cracking me up. So if you're on live, like go check out Sammy's just continuous like egging us on. By us, I mean me. So thank you, Sammy. That's great. Also, you never commented. I did the sound effect and I thought I'd get something out of that. So there's that. But the thing that I notice with you, Dan, is that you always know what you want. And that's not true for a lot of people.
No, I'll have to kick off with I have a problem. Megan, I saw your comment. You two will have more fulsome if we had you on stage and I said describe your problem. You know what it is. You're not sure on how to organize it so that the chatbot can do it. But if we essentially were Socratic and we asked, do you mean this or do you mean that? Do you want this solution or do you want that solution? And I guess, Tim, to your point, I'm a former software product manager. That's how our brains are wired. So I
Oh,
probably barf out a bunch of things that I natively think is just normal.
that's okay. So that's really interesting. I found economics accidentally, and it really I just think like an economist. And so I don't think in problems, I think in options, because that's what, alternative what are the relative benefits and costs of different
Yep.
options. And so I'm always bifurcating. Like if you give me a problem, I will instantly just start thinking about which option's better, not
And
about the problem
and I'll
itself.
and I hear a problem, and I'll start breaking down bullet points of abilities twos and features and benefits and limits, like it's chunking it down into its Lego
So there's
bricks.
something really important about that, because maybe one of the ways to talk about this is if you skip to solution, and anybody who's spent any time in tech knows this. If you skip to solutions too quickly, it's a fast way to get pot committed before you really understand it. And
Yeah.
this is something that happens to me all the time. So I feel like that's actually a good way to say it, is that, Dan, I think you know what the problem is. I just know I have one, and I start solving it before I understand it.
Uh,
So I feel like that's a helpful way of at least just getting at that.
Because when I use this prompt, I'm like, here's my problem, here's what I'm thinking, this is what I think I need. Like
Yeah.
whatever you have, it's a starting point. The way this prompt works is until it believes it can be 95% correct with whatever we're asking it to solve, it'll keep nickel and diming you for information. But when you feel, based on what it's giving you, you agree, you lock it in, it'll go off and do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that could be very helpful to me. So, so you've pulled this up. You've got we've got on here.
I have not run it in Claude yet, but I'm sure it'll work.
Okay.
You
And
want to give it a whirl?
I want you to I want to hear the answer to Megan's question, why
Yes.
Claude, not Gemini or something else?
Oh, I try them all. I find they all have their personalities.
Yep.
They all do things well. With the time that we spent in the Human Stack Upskillerator, I've been working in Claude, and I'm finding there's something special here, and
Yep.
I'm doing more, let's call it advanced experimenting, which I won't scare anybody with right now. But Tim's pulling me through, and you can get that only really well through the Claude experience. So I also have it up in ChatGPT. I
Love
have
it.
a gem that is this prompt, so I can just trigger it and it'll interrogate me.
Okay. Perfect. Great question, Megan. Thanks for asking. Okay. Let's do this. Let's walk it through.
So I'm going to hit enter, and Tim, I'll type what you tell me.
Oh, okay. Well, true to form. Yeah. I don't know what problem we have.
Oh, it's thinking. Ready. What do we need? So what problem do you want to solve today, or what shall we do?
Good question. Okay, here is like is it any kind of problem? Like what are the constraints
So far,
here?
yeah, I'm throwing.
Okay.
It's
all right.
designed it in theory to do code. I haven't tried that part, but I've brought
all right.
marketing, fundraising, ops, HR.
Right. Yeah. Okay, something that something that I am thinking about today is in a model that I've been developing called the AI Feels framework. What you do with AI Feels. I'm running into this question where I'm trying to figure out how you help people who bring something that sounds simple and help them understand different elements of a simple sounding but actually complex issue. Case in point, should we use ChatGPT for grant writing, right? Simple sounding, but three steps into that problem, you are in all sorts of weird territory. So does that problem work?
Yeah, that'll work. So help me make the. I'm thinking about today a concept of how to approach presenting a concept I am dealing with. How to teach, explain.
Yeah, I think that it's how to conceptualize it before teaching it, right? Like how do you, like, I want to know how to solve it first and then I can teach it. Maybe that's a splitting hairs. And I recognize this is very abstract, but these are the questions I get all the time, and so it's actually relevant to me. But I recognize this is probably not what's front and center for a lot of other people. So
many concepts sound simple, but are very complex.
right.
Case in point. So, like, Megan, like, you have that problem in your head right now. So using this prompt in theory will pull you through to get all the granularity the LLM needs.
Okay,
So
cool.
it's already trying in its background is thinking about an answer. And in theory, if it's working. So what specific, so it's done its silent scan. So it already thinks it has an answer. It's now in a clarifying loop.
Can you
What are
open
you
up the probed conceptualization? This is like maybe the most helpful thing for me is to look at the backdrop of what it thinks, what we think it's thinking, which by the way, this lens isn't always accurate, but it's still very interesting. Okay, silent scan. Oh, this is really cool. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
all right.
Tim, do you want a general framework method of breaking down complex concepts before teaching them, a specific analysis for ChatGPT for grant writing, or something else entirely?
So I have my own framework that I've developed over the last month that is a pretty simple quadrant framework. I'm still developing it, so I'm going to keep it kind of vague because I want to actually get a few more steps into it before I start putting it out there. So, but it's something like I want to find ways to identify hidden trade-offs in the question. That's the crux
ways
of what
to identify hidden trade-offs.
Yep.
When teaching complex concepts.
I'm resisting the complex concepts idea, but
how about when teaching?
Sure.
This isn't the Oscars.
I know. This is like
got to
welcome to my
stick to a
brain.
schedule.
No, I think this is good. I think it's good. This isn't the Oscars is one of my favorite lines, by the way. That is awesome.
So, are you looking for a systematic method tool to uncover hidden trade-offs?
I'm already loving this. Absolutely loving
or
it.
a diagnostic checklist to spot when trade-offs might be lurking.
Systematic method. Tell it systematic method that I already have, but won't tell you what it is. We'll see how it does with that. And the reason for that is because I want to help people surface the complexity before I talk with them about the framework. And so I need that to be a little bit, a little bit opaque.
Okay. Since you've declared you already have one, it's asking for further clarifications.
Oh my gosh, these are amazing
so why don't you,
questions.
So pick ABC so we can get through to
Yeah. Oh, let's go B.
Next one.
Yeah. C. Interconnected effects. I've got to say, I'm having a moment here, and this is probably what you experienced, where you're shocked at how specific to your problem it is, knowing that this is a generic tool, right? So,
yes.
Yes, A.
Your own preparation, I believe.
Yep. I liked it when it was giving me ABCs, though.
Oh, it will. I get that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What would you prefer?
See. So see.
I usually don't have this many clarifying questions.
I think that this is a
Here we go. So
very abstract one.
But this is the moment where no matter how much time you've taken above, it believes it could be 95% accurate. And
Right.
this is where we have to say, yes, lock it in and go and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Edit it, because this kind of have summed up what it thinks it's going to go and do. If you want the blueprint of the steps it's going to take, you could put in blueprint and it will do that. If you see a risk, it'll back off. So
Okay.
I generally, what it's there, given the types of things I'm doing, I'm usually, yes, lock it in, let's go.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, let's see it. Yeah. Damn, this is really cool.
God, thank Nate.
I think the answer to my original question here is, how do you go figure it out? Is that you go and experiment.
Oh,
and
very much, yeah.
Yeah. It's a non-obvious step though. So I feel like it's the kind of thing that.
But I'm going to go back to my childhood. I didn't know how to build big Lego sets.
Yeah.
I just figured out, if I want a really big whatever, figured out how to make it.
Yeah.
Today we live in a world where we buy the kit with an inch-sized set of instructions, and everybody thinks they're done when they build the original, what they've been told to build. And that's where the analogy breaks down. There is no blueprint with AI.
Right.
So here's your answer. You've got your layers. This hopefully means something to you.
Sami asked a really good question that's distracting me, which is, do we put the prompt in there or not?
Yes.
And I think the answer to that is only if it's available for free on Nate's Substack. I wouldn't want to give something away that's.
And I can't remember.
Yeah. But this is one example out of a bunch. So follow Nate's Substack.
I've gotten so much value out of just the basic subscription.
Now I'm ready to. I'm not distracted. Go back to up to the top.
So systems ripple effect diagnostic for teaching preparation.
Okay, can you go back up to the top? I didn't see the very first part of it. Oh, you know what's going on here is that I'm looking at the live and it's 20 seconds behind or something. Okay, got it. Okay. See it. Okay. Very, very cool. I mean, there's some things that I would tweak, but it is, I can see how powerful this is. Combine this with MCPs.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're actually answering from context that's embedded within tools that you've already got is very, very interesting.
So that for me, so where I'm looking at for now and future is finding prompts like this that essentially interrogate us to make sure, like, have you attached all the documents? Have you provided any feedback you have sitting on your desktop that you haven't bothered to give me? I'm paraphrasing. Have you connected it to a data set? And that, I think, is the type of prompting. The prompt itself isn't big, but it's been very intentional. Don't go past this until you've made a determination that you, the AI, think you could succeed. And then the human decides whether it should proceed.
This gets into a level of the real, like some of the work that I'm doing on the difference between guidance and governance, where governance is a set of gates that you unlock, like, and guidance is a state of emergence where you are figuring out as you go. And so it's not yes, no.
It isn't the whole world like, please stay in governance. We know what it is. But
the
beast is out. The beast doesn't care about governance.
It does not. It never did. First of all, governance just actually never worked. Like, Second, I think culture has shifted. I'll say it this way. And the central role of governance is a governor, and the central role of guidance is a guide.
Mhm.
And those two different approaches say almost everything you need to know about what is going to work
Yeah.
in an emergent world where you don't have the same kind of planning options that you used to have. You can't make a 3-year plan. It's just like that doesn't work anymore.
The 1 month plans.
I know,
Like
right?
with the pays. So
Yeah.
it's guided,
Yeah.
guideposts.
Right. Yeah. Well, and again, the thing I want to say is that governance was a way of thinking tech first with a human centricity model that wasn't actually human centric, because it was trying to use human centric practices to develop tech. And what we actually need to do is identify the humans first and be centric around them. And I think that that's very, very different.
And I
So
just want to, if you can, I'm
I
sharing a
tried to.
tab.
Yeah. Hold on. What happened with that? Yeah. Let me turn that back on. There we go.
So we talk about Nate. Like, what does Nate talk about? So I like Nate because he just speaks raw. So today, 2 hours ago, 23 ways ChatGPT still sucks. The AI videos here, and in it he'll give starting guides, Claude Code without code, a complete guide. I think there's a 64-page Google Doc to help you really get into that. This is if you pay the extra. But the meta ethics scandal, like these are
Oh, yeah.
deep, solid,
Oh, my
meaty.
gosh.
Like it's not the cotton candy of
Yeah.
ChatGPT 5 had a bad launch.
Right. Yeah.
So and you can go back in time. It's all value.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So to sum up here, there are a couple of takeaways I want to make sure that people are getting. But actually, before we do that, I'm going to pull a page out of Sami's book here, and we're going to talk about fundraising AI for a minute. We're going to come back, and I'm going to do some takeaways on how to boil down, I think, what we've been talking about here. So, first of all, if you have not registered for Fundraising AI Summit, that is coming up very quickly now. I cannot believe it.
You and I have to get ready for it.
I know we do need to get ready for it. So we're on a panel together. Not a panel. I'm giving a tour of Dan's work. So if you have not registered, it is free. It is really, really incredible. And also, I feel like we gotta just say there are some amazing sponsors out there. Human Stack is one of them. And so thank you to the sponsors that are putting this on. And thank you to the leaders that are organizing everything for this event that is free. We're hoping to have 12,000 people this year. This is the third annual, talking some about framework, a lot about the future. And it is a really good resource for people that are looking to figure out what's next for fundraising with AI and the nonprofit space in general. Dan, you and I are both on the advisory team for this.
We are.
What do you see from fundraising AI that might be a little bit different than other groups? I know that you're on a lot of different groups and boards and things like that.
Yeah,
How is this one different?
so this one's different. That the everybody is. My wife coined the term. Everybody's AI journey is either people are standing on the floor, taking the stairs, taking an escalator, or getting on an elevator. And when I started my journey as just an executive at a charity, I didn't have a network. Who do you talk to? I didn't know you at the time, Tim. Fundraising AI is full of people who, whether they took the escalator really quickly, they're definitely already up and have seen the opportunities, seen the challenges, are aware of the perils. And I have to say, it's always being around so many people with so many different vectors of life and professional experience to create this environment where you can literally, rather than getting the just the fluffy talk about AI, these are meaty conversations by people who have been doing this work for many years.
Yeah.
These aren't spin up, I'm a consultant in AI today. These are people who have been doing this work long before AI was even a thing. So pre-November 2022. So it's, for me, quite honored to be one of the few social purpose organizations on the group.
Yeah. And hopefully a lot more in the future, because I think that your voice is really important there. So if you have not signed up, grab this link, do it. We hope to see you there, and please do come to our session if you're there. We'd love to see you there. All right, as promised, here are a few takeaways from what I'm hearing. Dan, feel free to share yours as well. And we know Sami's going to be throwing them out there in the chat. So one of the things I hear is find who to follow. Mm-hmm. So I'll just give you a few names of people that I follow to stay current on what's going on. Sabrina Romanov, just throwing out content and inspiration in a way that almost nobody else does. I watch her on TikTok. I got to interview her live at an event earlier this year. She is even more amazing in person than on her channels, where she is just delivering so much value and content for people. And she's written an app that's doing really well called Blotato. So really love that. So that's one of mine. Nate B. Jones is another one. Dan, I know that you're following Nate B. Jones. You can talk about Nate.
Yeah, Nate's great. There's really, for me, there's two that are always go-to. As soon as they post, it's Nate. And then the other one is in the for-profit space. There is an organization called the Artificial Intelligence Show. Paul Rotzer and Mike Kaput. It turns out, I discovered Paul wrote a book way back when, and it was the first book on Kindle I bought. He was a marketing HubSpot guy, and they started this AI journey around marketing, but it's now become a more global thing. They will drop Tuesday a podcast. It's usually an hour and 20 minutes, and they're trying to aggregate into some sense making everything that happened last week. So if you wanted, not that you are in the industry, really but for me, it's like I'm looking at the tailwinds, like where are things going? Those are the two that I'm finding I get tons of value. The Paul Rotzer, they have a whole bunch of other things that they've got training. It's all in a for-profit lens. But I find most of the things in a for-profit lens can be easily adapted into our social impact making.
Yep. I don't watch that one, but I feel like I do because you give me so much input from that. Yeah. So absolutely. Another one, Rob Lennon, and then the AI Build Lab. So if you're wanting a hands-on, like, take the elevator.
Yes.
It's definitely.
It's everybody can choose whether you're dragged up the stairs or you want to take the elevator. That Maven course that you and I both done.
Yeah.
That's 4 weeks that I did in January. It's like.
Okay, the last one I'm going to say is Dan Kershaw. And if you don't know who Dan Kershaw is, he's an absolutely boss, incredible
but I'm
nonprofit leader.
But I don't have podcasts and things like that. That's
but
yes,
we're going to solve that.
Jam.
Don't worry about that. We'll solve it. But I mean this very sincerely, that Dan, I've learned so much from you. You're the reason I took the Maven course. You've introduced me to multiple, and I know I've done the same for you. So, that's great. But I think that there's
sharing is caring.
Yeah. So I think that you got to find your tribe, and there's going to be part of your tribe that is going to be outside your circle, and some that's going to be in it.
No, I think that's why the Upskillerator and other cohorts, I talk to other people online and that are in a little further ahead than the rest of us, and it's kind of lonely because you want to nerd out with it about, you heard about this MCP thing, and I could walk for 100 kilometers, and if I find one human being that knows what an MCP is, it would be a miracle.
Yeah.
So yeah, you find your tribe, you find your way to collaborate and communicate, whether it just be Zoom like this, or LinkedIn. And if you get lucky, do it in real life, and it's just a total gem.
That's amazing. Sammy's telling me in the background that I have to play some noise. I don't know where that noise is. Like, what in the world?
I've hidden the button, Tim. You don't have to hit the button.
Yeah, there we go. But I do want people to know that Sammy's still out there trying to distract us from this conversation that we're having. And so there you go. I don't know if everybody knows, Sami does this little like noise. It's the air horn, so that's great. But she did say the upskillerator, which I appreciate. And Dan, you've said that too. The upskillerator is something I started, but not something I feel like I own. And it is a place where I found my tribe, and I'm inviting others. And I hope it's our tribe of people that want to grow together. And we're just really just throwing out
highlight
questions.
it's not hyper nerdy people like the guy below me, and I guess I'm a nerd too. These are people who are in different places in their careers, different roles, some for profit, some not, that are all grappling with how do we put this weird amorphous thing that changes every day to work in the work that we do. It's a very diverse group, which is that diversity shines a lot of differences on what can be done.
It hit me that we started our first one on December 18th. Like we're definitely into this for a ways now, and I think we've only missed 1 week.
Yeah.
But we do it on Wednesday mornings. You got access to everything that passed. But recently, HannahCon, I was talking to HannahCon. She said something that just blew me away. She said, I learned more in the first 5 minutes of the Upskillerator than I had on all the other stuff I had done. And why this is important is that in the first 5 minutes of the Upskillerator, I don't really talk. This is where everybody else says, here's what I'm doing. And then we spend a lot of time letting people show what they are working on. And so I can't agree enough that this is not the Tim show. This is the how are people upskilling and what does that look like? And then some guidance from
you were a facilitator.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. So we would love to have you there if you're interested. Feel free to check that out. But whether it is the Upskillerator or something else, I feel like the takeaway from today, the most important takeaway, isn't about prompts. It isn't about how good they are. It isn't about the future. Is what I hope we're always talking about. It is the human stack. Who are the humans that you are finding to go with? What's your human stack that's helping you move forward, not just in AI, but in the ways that you think about your organization, the work that you're doing, who you are. And part of that is going to be AI as well. So, and Sami, thank you in the background for hopping in and making this so entertaining. As always, I feel like you're here and just not visible, and we took your mic away, which is kind of fun for a week. We can't wait to have you back. Dan, as always, thank you so much for joining us, sharing your wisdom. What is your last takeaway before we sign off?
Figure out how you like to learn, whether it's podcasts, books, putting up with Sami and Tim. There's so much information that's available, but you have to start. And whether you want to go fast and take an intensive course on Maven, it's worth it. But AI is not slowing down. So figure out how you want to learn and just start experimenting.
Love it. All right. We will see you here next week. If you want to join the Upskillerator, we'll see you right after this. And thanks for joining, Dan.
My pleasure, Tim.
This is going to be the worst takeoff ever because I can't find the end.